Alrighty, everybody. So I just wanted to hop on and do a quick little introduction video. First of all, welcome to College Algebra Math 1314. So depending on what course you're in, your section ID might look a little different. For this course, it's going to be 71D. That might be 71, 72, 73, 01, whatever it is. You're in the right spot as long as you're looking at college algebra. Okay, so first and foremost, you'll see our Blackboard here. If you've already started this video, you've already started navigating this guy right here. I don't really use the calendar function for this course. I do use the announcements function. So anytime that I'm trying to communicate with you guys as a class, I'll post an announcement here. We're not going to do any discussions, groups, or achievements for the course. This is the course grade book. I recommend checking this out. Here you'll see all your due dates for the semester. I don't think it's showing the homework as of right now. As we unlock things, it'll start opening. It does show our first homework assignment here though. So anyway, we'll go back to our content. So tutor.com is a free online tutoring service that's available 24/7. You can just click that link. It'll open up. And then my account goes a little bit different than you guys' account. Let's see here. There it is, switch to student view. So when you log in, it'll look something like this. You just hit this button, you can connect with the tutor now. You can even schedule an appointment if that's something that you want to do. Really great service there. So as you've already started looking in this part 1 folder here, we're going to have our syllabus. Depending on what section you guys are in, it might say fall, spring, summer, whatever. The according syllabus, whatever syllabus I'm using for the course will be uploaded. So if it looks a little different, that's okay. I sometimes change things semester to semester, but the general idea stays the same. So first and foremost, please, please, please do not use Blackboard to message me. Please be sure to use my email, okay? If you don't know how to access your student email, it's just this button right here on your home screen. You click that, you can log in there. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Like I said, please don't use Blackboard to email me. It's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's because a lot of those times those emails will go to my spam folder and I don't get notified that they're there. And sometimes I can go weeks without seeing them. So I don't want to miss you guys' emails. So please be sure to do that. Office hours. As of right now in the in the summer of 2026, I am an online adjunct instructor for LSCPA. So I don't have an in-person office. If that changes, office hours will be there, but as of right now, I'm only online by appointment. So if you need something, just send me an email with 3 different dates and times that you're available, and we can get an appointment scheduled. There's your course description, catalog description. Textbook is free for the class. You don't have to buy anything. I highly recommend, if this is the only course you're taking, opting out of that Seahawk book bundle and getting your money back. If you have other textbooks that you've got to use, you might need that Seahawk book bundle, but for this course, the book is free whether or not you have the book bundle. So we have the grading scale here, and then we have the breakdown of the grade. We've got your average for your quizzes is 15%, each of your tests is 15%, and then your homework is 25%. If you look at this scale, anywhere from 80 all the way up to a 90 is a B. I don't do rounding or extra credit, so if your grade is a 89.2, go ahead and retake one of those homeworks or one of those quizzes, which we'll talk about here in a second, to bring that grade up to that A. We're going to be using MyOpenMath. Everything's going to be integrated fully into your Blackboard system, so you don't have to download anything or go to any different websites. It's all going to be here in Blackboard for you to make things easy. That's homework, quizzes, tests, and everything. So the way the class is going to be set up is you're going to be provided with textbook links and videos. You're expected to actually read the textbook. Please, please, please actually read the textbook, especially if you're in an online course, because that's where you're going to be getting all your information from the course, okay? The next thing, please actually watch those support videos. If you only have time to do one or the other, please at least watch the support videos, okay? So first thing you'll do is you'll work a couple sets of homework practice after, please check Blackboard for those due dates. I don't accept late work. That's a big thing for this class, guys. So, there are a couple opportunities to make up work, but outside of that, I don't accept anything. So please pay attention to those deadlines, especially in a summer course, because those deadlines come up very quickly. Quizzes, you'll have, after you complete a couple homework assignments, you'll have a following quiz that corresponds to those homework assignments. You'll have 3 attempts for each of those quizzes. There will be a time limit on those. The time limit varies. So just check on your Blackboard and I'll show you those time limits. Then we'll have the unit exams. You'll have 3 unit exams, then a final exam at the end of the course. The unit exams are only going to cover what we talk about in that specific unit. The final exam will cover the whole course. I need to correct that. Oh, no, it is 15%. We're good. So those will be timed and they will only have 1 attempt. So please, please, please be sure that you have, strong Wi-Fi connection. You're not going to be interrupted. Once you start that exam, you can't pause it. The timer will keep going even if you open it. Don't even look at a question and close it out. So don't open it until you're ready to take it, and be sure you have solid Wi-Fi and have sufficient time to complete it, because there will be no redos or anything like that. If you're worried about your Wi-Fi connection, you are always welcome to go to LSCPA's testing center or computer lab and use those facilities. Just know that there might be other people in there, so if you need a quiet testing environment, just plan ahead for that. So one of the most important things I want to cover is our late passes. Okay, each student is going to be given 10 late passes in this semester. Okay, you do not have to email me to use the late passes. I would actually prefer that you did not email me to use the late passes, because they're automatically applied, okay? I'm going to show you guys here later on in this video how to use those late passes. You can use them for anything except the final exam, including your homework quizzes and those chapter tests or those chapter exams. Everything but the final. Okay, you're responsible for using them in the best way that's beneficial to you. In other words, I'm not going to tell you, hey, you should save that late pass and use it for this, right? Late passes cannot be used to extend anything past the due date of the final exam, okay? So once that final exam is due, I'm going to start calculating final grades, and late passes will not work after that final exam is due. So just plan accordingly for that. For summer, your late passes are going to cover the whole summer, since it's such a short time period and it's such a expedited course. For fall and spring, those times can vary, so just be sure to read up on your late passes. There will be a little informational tab on Blackboard I'll put, so you can read for your specific course. But if you're in summer 26, which is what I'm making this video for, you're good. It'll last the whole semester. So one of the things that I do, because especially in summer courses, guys, these courses go very quick. It's not a shortened course in the fact that we shorten the material. It's just shortened in the time frame that we do it. So you would still be learning everything that you learn in a traditional 16-week course, but now you're just learning it in 5 weeks. So that's, over 3 times as fast. So just be prepared for that. Just know that ahead of time. It is doable, but just know that going into the course. I highly recommend, even in a 16-week course, not getting behind in it. Okay, guys? I understand emergencies happen, life happens, kids, work, accidents happen, illness happens, whatever it may be, life happens. You can use those late passes to help you catch up, okay? Now, I give everybody 10. That is 10 chances to make up. So I do not offer any makeups after those 10 chances. If you burn through all 10 of your chances, I'm so sorry, but that's all I can do for you, okay? Now, if you do not use your late passes, I will apply those points to your final exam. So if you see down here, attend to be just in the events of emergencies. And so, for instance, I give an example. If a student has two late passes and scores a 79 on their final exam, then the remaining they used 2. They have 8 left. The remaining 8 points will be added to their final exam score to bring it up to an 87. So basically, the number of late passes you have left, just count that as a point on your final exam. So if you don't use any of your late passes, that's 10 points on your final exam, meaning that you could make an 80, a B, and it would turn into an A. It will bring you up a whole letter grade, which when the final exam's worth 15% of your grade, that's a pretty hefty thing. So again, no late work, no late work, no extensions, no makeup work will be accepted. Please do not ask. Every semester I always get at least 10 or 15 emails asking for makeup work. Nothing past what the late passes give you. And then some other policies, you guys can just read over those. I don't think there is anything that I need to go over in that. Okay, so now that we've gone over that, let's take a look at this weekly schedule. I highly recommend printing this weekly schedule or getting a planner of some sort, whatever works for you. It works for me. I break it down week by week of what you should be working on and remind you of all your due dates. So if you look at this, guys, week 1, you have a bunch of assignments. So, you know, summer courses go fast. So if you're in a 16-week course, you can kind of ignore this. But just for the summer, folks, just be prepared that there is a good chunk of stuff. So that being said, there's that. And then we'll have the syllabus quiz. Okay. Best way to contact me is by using my LSCPA email. That's true. Everything's free for this class. That's true. This question normally trips people up, so just pay attention here. The homework is going to be 15%. I'm sorry, the homework is 25%. Come on now. The quizzes are a total of 15%, and the exams are 15% each. Okay, so make sure you put quizzes 15%, and the exams are 15 each. Since there's 4 exams, that ends up being, what, 60% of your grade? So 60%. Yeah, sorry. I had another train of thought that wasn't quite there, y'all. I can't do Blackboard messages, so be sure to email me. That's true. I can't talk about your grade over the phone or email or before or after class. You have to check it in the Blackboard gradebook tab. I didn't cover that, but that is actually law, guys. So if you have any questions about your grade, check it in the gradebook. If you still have questions, email me and we can schedule an appointment on Zoom, but just be sure to have your student ID so I can verify that. If you're unable to access anything, this is something I should cover. If you're not able to open up anything for, sometimes, guys, Blackboard glitches. Sometimes it freezes. Sometimes I've had students who did everything right, and then for whatever reason, they still couldn't move forward, right? If that happens to you, just send me an email. If you can include a screenshot, that will make things go so much faster. And I will work with you on getting that resolved. Now, if you do not email me and I do not know that the problem is going on and deadlines pass, there's nothing I can do, okay? You have to inform me of what's going on before those deadlines pass and before you get behind, so that way I am able to help you, okay? And we'll talk about the unlocking of assignments here in a second, and I'll show you kind of what I mean. Let's see. And that's just reminding you guys that homework has no time limits. It's unlimited attempts. You can start it, reopen it as many times as you want up until the due date, and there will be no penalty for reopening it. Quizzes, you have an hour long. You get 3 attempts before the final deadline. This is something I didn't mention. The best score will be used in the grade book. So let's say you make an 80, a 70, and then a 20. That 80 is going to go in the grade book, even if the 20 was the last attempt. And then the unit tests are an hour and 15 minutes long, and you only have 1 attempt. That's all true. If you notice a theme with the answers, the syllabus quiz is not supposed to be hard, just to make sure you know what the meat and potatoes of the class is about. I don't accept late work, offer extra credit, anything besides those late passes we already talked about. If you do experience a significant life circumstance, okay, so if you're hospitalized for a long period of time, you have a chronic illness that prevents you from doing your classwork, if you have something major going on, for that prevents you from being in the class for more than a week, please let me know via an email as soon as possible so we can work with the appropriate personnel to get you what you need to be successful, okay? So, and then last but not least, you're just saying that you agree and understand the policies that are here in the syllabus. So we'll just type, I understand. We'll click off to the side. We'll hit submit. And then just like that, we've got our first 100 of the course. Okay. So next thing, we've got our links to the textbook. There is a link to a Desmos graphing calculator. If you want to use that, it teaches you some really cool stuff. This is the only calculator you should be using for the course. There is no reason for you to be using AI calculators. Those will result in a point deduction. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the math. So it'll just tell you here what we're learning in this section 2.1. We can open up our textbook link. So something I do want to show you guys before I open that. Once you open a unit, you'll have this option to do this drop down button over here. So it shows 1 of 7 completed and then that little drop down arrow there. Then you have the option to drop down again for each section. So this first section is 2.1, 2.2, 2.4, and then you have your unit quiz. So under 2.1, we have the learning objectives, the reading, the videos that I talked about, and then the practice assessment. So you have to go through these things. See how it says you cannot open this one until the other one is completed. It locks you out of the course, so you have to work it in order, okay? Because it's very important. Math builds upon itself, guys. So if you don't understand 2.1, you're going to struggle in 2.2 and then even more in 2.3 and so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and open up that link. If you do not actually open the link and read the textbook, it will not let you continue. It's very important that we read this book. I know it's not super exciting stuff, but it actually is a really high quality textbook and I highly recommend it. So you go through, you read your chapter. Now you'll be able to move on to the next thing. You'll open up your YouTube videos. These are written, these videos are created by the people who wrote the textbook. So very knowledgeable folks explaining how to do what we're doing. Okay, and then we can open up our homework assignment by hitting this launch button over on the side. And it'll open up a tab for us to do our homework in. That's not supposed to do that. We'll just do practice. So under a when you're actually doing it, it'll just pop up and it'll just say launch. I have to fix the due date on it for whatever reason. It's not accurate. But you'll look over here on the side, you'll notice that we have 0 of 1 points over here. Once you answer the question correctly, you'll see 1 out of 1 points. If you earn partial credit, your partial credit will show here. You get 999 tries on the same question. Okay, so you get 3 chances using these numbers over here. And then after those 3 chances, you can get a new one. So let's just answer it incorrectly 3 times. And then clear all. Over here at the top, you can hit, oops, I didn't want next question. Get similar question, and it'll pop up a new question for you guys. There's also video question help down here, so if you're stuck on it, you can answer that right there. You can also hit jump to answer. It'll use one of your tries, but it will pop up this little key symbol so you can see the answer. Sometimes it's helpful to see what the answer is so you know what the question is actually asking you. So then you can move on to the next question. Like for instance here, you might be confused. What does it mean? Show me the ordered pairs including parentheses. You can either watch the video or you can hit jump to answer and you can see that it's just talking about the ordered pairs using those parentheses. So just something like that. I think that's everything. Oh, up here at the top, you can hit this drop down button and see the questions and kind of go between questions. So like say for instance, I wanted to skip question 2 and I wanted to move on to question 4. I could work on question 4 and then I can go back and work on question 3. You can bounce around. With the homework, you can close it out. Oopsies. You can close it out as many times as you want. And then using this drop down menu here, you can go back to it. So if you're not happy with your grade, which we can go to the grade book. Oops. Come on, Blackboard, you can do it. It's not shown up in the grade book because I haven't fixed those deadlines, but that's okay. You can go back to the grade book. Let's say, for instance, this grade came up and you had a 30 or whatever it may be. You're working on it, then you had to go to work, your kids distracted you, whatever it is. Let's say you weren't happy with this grade that was showing up here. You could just click on this title over here. It'll open it up. You can relaunch the homework and try it again. Okay. So let's see. Up here, it's going to show your current average. That will be the average that I use to calculate your final grade. So anything 90 and above is an A, yada, yada. I'm trying to make sure that I've covered everything. I think that's the big part. So we talked about this. Oh, one thing I will mention, sometimes Blackboard can take up to 30 minutes to update your grade. So give it 30 minutes, and if it still hasn't updated after 30 minutes, try again in 24 hours. If it has not updated in 24 hours, send me an email because there might be something going on that I need to take a look at. I haven't had any issues in a while, so hopefully, knock on wood, that's not going to be a problem. So once you complete these homeworks, it'll unlock this quiz. Then you can unlock this next section, this next quiz, and then your exam. I do want you to notice you cannot unlock your exam until you've completed your quizzes and your homeworks. Okay, so just be mindful of that. This exam's 15% of your grade, so don't wait till the last minute doing your quizzes and homework and lock yourself out of your exam. So, I think that's that. And then we have some extra resources down there. Okay, guys, I think that's just about everything I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to send me an email. Other than that, y'all have a great semester.